The watermelon is getting square and square. We'll keep an eye on that. Well, anyway, good morning. Magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. As you probably noticed, I am wearing what I call my happy hat. And you're probably saying to yourself, James, you're always happy. Well, yeah, I am happy most of the time. But when you see me with what I call my happy hat, it means I have a really neat project that I'm working on. And I have a neat project that I'm working on today. It's a compilation of some of the past episodes. One of the projects that I'm working on, going out collecting some items for that project, and I'm going to start that project this morning. So I think you know what it is, but we'll get into it after the intro this morning. Now let's go ahead and get started. Without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Now, those are trainers. Those are trainers from Fernando Air Base. They do formation training. They do pilot training. And I think one of the vectors that they use, basically a waypoint, is right over the top of Villa Feliz. We have a resident here in our subdivision who actually he works for Singapore Airlines. He's a pilot, and he's based out of Singapore, but he has a home here in the subdivision. And he's a friend of ours, and we were talking about it one day, and I was saying, you know, I noticed over the last year, we were getting a lot of these planes, these pilot training planes flying over with the props, you know. And he said, oh, you have to blame me for that. I am actually a member of some organization out at the base, and I asked them to put our area, our home area right here, as one of the waypoints on there. So anyway, thank you, Mark. So now we get the occasional flyover, but it's kind of interesting, especially when they fly over in a huge formation. They'll fly over in maybe like a 10 or 12 plane formation. It's almost like getting your own private air show sometimes. So make the best of a situation that could otherwise be considered maybe a little noisy. Anyway, you can see I got the spray going on right now, the mister for the raised bed garden. We have not been getting a lot of rain here lately, so I've had to do some irrigation. Over the last couple of days, I've had to do some irrigation of the yard as well as inside the garden. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Remember, I said we have a project. We have a project because I have my happy hat on. And the project is, if you've been following, you remember the other day we went to Rosario and we visited Edgar's, the nursery, the plant nursery out there. And by the way, Edgar sent me a message, and Edgar said, thank you very much for sending all these people out his way. And he's got a lot of new Facebook friends. So if you haven't watched, I think it was our very last episode, if you haven't had an opportunity to watch that last episode, check it out. And if you want to become friends with somebody who can give you a lot of really good information about plants and has good prices on plants too, check out Edgar's Facebook site and make a connection with him. He's a really good guy. Anyway, you see over my shoulder, this is the big project for today, which happens to do with why we got all of those plants the other day from Edgar's nursery. You see this island right here? It is ready to start planting some flowers and little types of shrubs and all right here. This is the first one. I'm going to start on this one today. I started this other one over here, but it's not ready yet because I have to build up the soil. I have to build up the soil with a little bit more soil as well as some nutrient. I want to put some compost inside here like I did with this really nice rich soil over here. Depending on what time I get done with this today is when I will start on this one. But take a look. If you look and see, you know how I did this little island gardens plant area right here. you can see, or maybe get a vision for these two areas for plants of what this is right here. I did a lot of work here and continuing to do work here on this island here. I want something to complement this island and, you know, the island we're working on over here, and this little flower bed over in this area right here. I want something to complement these on Bahikubo Island, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to start working on this one. We're going to put some of these plants. Every time I get plants, I just kind of stick them around the bottom of our trees right here and water them. I might have them a few days before we actually put them in the ground. So I got a couple of sago palms. The sago palm, I love the sago palms. We have them on both these islands. Right now they're small, but when they grow bigger, they are going to be absolutely beautiful. I have the sago palms here. I have some of the lilies. I got a little bit of everything. And you saw everything that we bought the other day over at Edgar's place. Mainly ground cover. These are mainly ground cover. And I need to get these ground cover plants here. And you can see we're getting blooms already over here on these. I have 3 different varieties. This white, a little bit of a purplish color, one that's almost all purple or violet, and then we have the yellow over here. I think they're going to make a very, very nice complement to some of the other plants that we're going to put on this island. So that's what I'm going to get started on here today. Something else I want to mention, speaking of this island right here, yesterday what I did, I planted some of those pineapples. Remember, we harvested the pineapples from the raised bed garden, and then we took the tops and we put them up inside or on the porch back here, and we put some water in a cup and a couple of cups, containers, and we allowed them to root. So then after I did that, I went ahead and planted them out here, and they're very easy. It's very easy to propagate pineapple. I have one here, and this one has been here. I did this one about a week ago, and then yesterday I added 2 more. Remember, the more pineapples you have, the more pineapple plants you have, the more pineapples you'll have in 2 years from now. So you want to start early on these. So I have another one right here, and then I have the 2 over here. As you remember, the 2 pineapple plants that I moved from the raised bed garden that didn't produce this year. And these are about 2 years old, but they should have started producing, but they didn't. And this is Michelle's. You remember Michelle from Michelle and Roy's Sari store in our barangay. And this one right here. Neither one of these have produced yet, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on. They're still very healthy, and they actually look nice. And then what's so neat is when they get the pineapple on the top, and it looks like this, it's just such a nice decoration inside your garden. And what we're going to do, you know, these suckers that are on the side of these, I have 4 of them. They will soon also. So from this one plant right here, this one plant will make 5 more pineapple plants from its own top on the pineapple, plus the suckers that are going around there. And we'll be working on that soon. Now we're going to be working on this island right here, this small flower bed. Now, normally when you set up your flower bed, you kind of have a plan. And I don't have a written plan. I didn't do a written plan. A written plan is normally the best. A written plan is best for you so that when you go to a plant nursery, you know how many of a specific number of plants that you want to put inside there. You kind of draw it out so that you don't have to return to the plant nursery. But you don't have to do that. I'm kind of freelance sometimes in the way, in my approach to doing plants. I see plants and I kind of have an idea of the type of cover that I want, and I just know that something like this might take like 20 plants in this one, or you could do maybe less and then later on propagate and make it thicker. But if you want it all done the first time, then you would normally sketch out a plan, calculate how many of a specific type of a ground cover that you want to put, decide where you want to put your feature plants. Like over on this island, we have a date palm in the center. We have 3 sago palms around the corners, equal distance from the center, the date palm. And I don't think they call them sago palms here in the Philippines. I think based upon the pronunciation of the letters of like vowels, I think they're called sago palms. All right, well, it doesn't look like a lot right now. Of course, when you first put plants inside the ground, you have to allow them to start growing, getting bigger and joining. Now I still have other plants that I want to put, especially around the border. I don't have what I want here. I think what we're going to do, we're going to use maybe like the Moses and the cradle over there to go around the outside of the lilies here as well. I think that will look really nice because the lilies, you kind of want to tier things. This sago palm, the way we pronounce it in North America, this is going to grow tall. But it takes many years, and it will continue growing up. And then these plants right here will fill in a little bit higher behind it, and then we'll have lower levels will go down. So the stuff in the back will be like a back border to the plants all around the front. So we'll continue to add a little bit. All of these little ground cover plants here. The ground cover plants will hopefully they will start filling in the dirt layer there. You won't see the dirt after a while. I kind of cheated. Normally I would take each one and cut each little piece, and then what I would do is I would put each one. I started out like that, and I'm like, oh, this is going to take me forever. So I started putting bunches in. They'll grow out, and they will make their own roots as they fall to the ground, like this right here. They'll start getting roots that will make them, because it'll be a very low ground cover here, sort of like what a strawberry shoot does when it grows off and it makes little roots that go inside for the next strawberry plant. So that's about as much as we're going to do here today. And I just want to share with you that there's really no right way or wrong way to make your garden. Yeah, it's up to your imagination and your likes. I like kind of being symmetrical. That's why I saved about half of the plants that I planted here today. I left them. They're still behind me. And I'm going to use them on this flower bed area over here, because I want the two little flower beds on the entranceway to the kubo here. I want them to kind of match each other a little bit. You don't have to do that. That's my preference. That's the nice thing about gardening. Now, when I said there's no right way and no wrong way, well, that's not quite so accurate. You really can't take your plant and plant it upside down inside the ground, because you know the roots need to go in the ground and the plant needs to go on the top. Although there are some plants, if you do it like that, they will reverse and they will come back up. And I'm going to tell you a little story. It's funny to me. Case in point is I planted some of my dragon fruit back here in the back of the garden back here. I'll show you some things. I have several places that I have them, and they're clippings from the ones that we have in a raised bed garden. Now, I have them all over the place, and I just want you to look. Now, please don't laugh at me. I want you to look at this one. Now, obviously, there's something wrong with that. And when I was talking about no right way and no wrong way, well, there kind of is a wrong way, and that has to do with planting them upside down. I made a mistake on one. I just grabbed a bunch of my cuttings of my dragon fruit that I pulled off of the raised bed garden, and I planted one in upside down. I didn't know there was a upside down to a dragon fruit, but there really is. And it has to do in which direction those little needles, like the cactus needles, which they are a variety of cactus, by the way, which direction that they're pointing. They're supposed to be pointing up. And somehow I got misoriented with that one. I planted down. And how did I know? Because it wasn't yellow like that when I first saw it, because that was actually what was in the ground. My gardener came to me and he said, do you know? He said, one of your plants is upside down. I said, what do you mean upside down? And he pulled this one out and he showed me. And that's where I got the lesson about the needles, pointing up and pointing down. Lesson learned. Good tip for you if you're starting out with dragon fruit. Now we'll let that all get started over there. We'll let it get started, and we'll continue to add. We'll improve upon that one. Then I also have the one behind me over here that I have to work on. That one maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll work on it tomorrow. And I got to thank Edgar down at the Plant Nursery in Rosario. Thank you very much, Edgar, for providing me with some really good deals on some plants and some of the training. And the training is always with Edgar free. Can't ask for much better than that. Free is a great thing these days. Anyway, I'm going to close from here in the backyard by the Bahay Kubo. I got my ice water over here. As you can see, I'm pretty wet, sweaty. from doing this little exercise here this morning, but I enjoy it. That's one great thing about retirement. That's one great thing about 365 days of the year. Every day is Saturday, every day is Sunday, every day is the weekend for you. And it's really nice here in the Philippines because 365 days of the year, it's great weather, unless it's raining. And then if it's raining, it's kind of a good thing too, because you don't have to water your yard. So anyway, I'm going to close from here. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did enjoy today's episode, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little MPID dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such times, from here in the Philippines, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.